Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're watching Batman on film.
I have given a name to my pain. The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham. You don't really think you'll win, do you? I'm Batman.
Hey now, welcome to, it's a shocker, we're back. Rick, it's been 2 months, almost to the day.
I haven't been home, dude. I've been on the road. I've been in Atlanta and Denver, and you've been... Why is your office so bleak? Where's all your Batman memorabilia?
It's boxed up. That's why I'm sure I sound like I'm in the Bat Cave, because there's nothing on the walls. Everything is gone. I'm moving. We're moving. I mean, I know people are going like, you're moving next year. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not taking all this stuff down, putting it back up and taking it down again. Plus, I got to sell a house and all that stuff. So it is boxed up. My office, my man cave is all boxed up. A lot of it's over here to my right. But anyway, it's almost been 2 months and a whole lot to talk about. Rick and I have tried, tossed around some ideas over the last 8 weeks, and there was just nothing really worthy of doing a vlog over. So, but now we have stuff to talk about. This is episode number 51 of the Batman on Film vlog, and I am yes, I am the founder of Batman on Film, Bill Jett Ramey, and of course with me is Rick Shew. All right, Rick, let's just get right to it. The second and probably last trailer for Todd Phillips, director Todd Phillips, Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur Fleck, dropped yesterday. And what was your thoughts? I mean, it's it's a trailer, but I mean, and I don't think the tone was a lot different than the first one, personally.
No, it wasn't, and to me, that's a good thing. I think it's hypnotic. I think it looks riveting, and I think it looks exactly how I want it to look. What I mean by that is, there's a great LA Times article yesterday.
Yes.
Who was the writer on that? Do you know?
I'm not sure, but I think it's part of their.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's part of their. What's this? What's their? It's not Heat Vision. Heat Vision is Hollywood Reporter, but it's part of the paper, their online stuff that covers superhero genre film. So anyway.
Yeah, and there's a great quote here from Todd Phillips, and he said, and this is tying into how I feel about the trailer and how it looks in the aesthetic. He said, it really came from this idea about the movie, obviously. What if you just did a comic book movie differently? He explained. We all grew up on these character studies, and now there's few and far between. And I agree with him on that. These character study driven films, the Taxi Drivers and things like that, they're not around. So it was like, let's do a deep dive on one of these guys, in this case obviously the Joker, in a real way. No one is going to fly in, no buildings are going to collapse. It's just going to be on the ground. And he goes on later to say, if this was in real life, you wouldn't have dropped a guy in acid and
yes.
Which
he would come out with bleached skin and green hair and a perfect smile. Yeah.
Now, to be fair, a lot of this stuff here is applicable to the Nolan trilogy, especially stuff concerning the Joker and Perma White and all that. But as the Nolan trilogy was a heightened reality, right? I think this is not going to be as heightened.
No, this is just
this is
real
this
world
is even
thing,
this is going to make, I think this is going to make the Nolan trilogy look like the Avengers in that regard, right?
Well, yeah, if you want to,
you know what I mean when I say
this is to that as that is to
right,
whatever.
as fantastical.
Yes.
The juxtaposition, which is one of my favorite words.
Yes.
So with that said, the trailer captures that mood for me. I feel like I've detached myself from Joker in comics or any other incarnation. I see a little bit of a wink to some Killing Joke stuff, and there's probably some other little nods that we'll get, little nuanced things. But overall, this is just, it's in a vacuum. It's its own story. He once again references this as a one-off, and says he doesn't think that he and Joaquin would return. I guess you could interpret that it leaves the door open that maybe they would, but I really doubt it.
I think he was talking more about working with Joaquin Phoenix again as an actor, and him as a director, is more than just. And look, and trust me, I've been to these things, these pressers. That's a PR answer. I mean,
well, of course,
you're
right.
You don't want to alienate it's all got to connect. This must be a franchise. This must be it's it's a superhero film, so it's got to be a sequel crowd. And I get that. Yeah,
I do too. And I don't think that's what the objective is. And I don't think Joaquin Phoenix would have signed on to that, just based on the history of his work.
And as someone who knows like what this film is all about, story wise, ain't no sequel going to happen. And don't infer anything from that. Just trust me. It's written to be. There's no. I can't even fathom wanting to see another story of this. The story is so well done and so interesting. I mean, what are you going to do? Okay. I mean, anyway.
We'll dive more into this obviously after the film's released and everybody sees it. Yes. But no, man, I think it looks great. His laugh, wow. Where did that laugh come from?
Well, he has said where it comes from. Exactly where it comes from. He did research on people who have some sort of disorder where they'll just laugh spontaneously and uncontrollably, and that's where it came from. He watched tape. He did research, and he watched these people, and that's.
Would someone text Bill the definition of rhetorical?
Yes.
I'm kidding.
Yes, I know.
No, but seriously though, too, you're actually responding to that. This guy does his homework. He's a true character actor.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, you know what? Some of those are bullshit terms to me, and I have a theater background and everything. But the character actors versus whatever. At the bottom line is this: the guy's a very serious performer. He does his homework and he immerses himself in the characters that he plays. And he's one of the finest American actors working today.
Phillips said also that he lost like 55 pounds for this role because he's really, I mean, he's borderline Christian Bale thin from The Machinist.
And coming from a guy that's lost 40 pounds since February, I can tell you firsthand that's no small feat. So losing weight is hard. I
think when Bale did it, he ate an apple a day for The Machinist.
Bell's a good example of someone akin to
they're
Joaquin Phoenix.
They're cut from the same cloth acting wise.
Right.
So let me read this to you, Rick. Michael Uslan. I spoke with him yesterday about Joker, and this is what he said. He said, put this on Batman on Film. At this moment in time when comic book movies / TV shows are saturating the marketplace, I think cookie cutter, and he does it in quotes, cookie cutter sequels and movies are not the answer. I think the most important thing needed are films that are different, bold, and unique. If, in order to do this, rules need to be broken by filmmakers with informed and creative visions, then break some rules and spin our heads around. Jerry Robinson, co-creator of the Joker, was a dear friend of mine and a mentor. I met and talked with his Joker co-creator, Bill Finger, twice. I knew Batman co-creator Bob Kane as well. I have zero doubt that once meeting Todd Phillips, they would have fully endorsed what he has masterfully and artistically accomplished.
Wow.
Thoughts about that?
So Uslan's feeling pretty good about this film.
And the main message is like what he says. It's time to do something different.
It's time to do something different. Listen, you can't... The Joker is going to always have a cinematic platform.
Yes.
At least in the foreseeable future. Until these films just aren't desired anymore. And who knows when that'll happen. It probably will have a breaking point at some point, but it's not anytime soon. What are you going to do with the Joker? What Nolan and Ledger did versus the Burton Nicholson stuff, you're going, wow, well, where does it go from there? Then they attempted to do something very different from Ledger's Joker, and I actually applaud them for what they were doing with Jared Leto's Joker. I really do. I dare I say, I like that Joker. But there was a lot of backlash on it because it was a little with the teeth, the grills, and the tats, and But again, they were doing something different, and I'm grateful for that. So now what? And then what do you do from here? Well, you do exactly what Todd Phillips just said. You approach this very differently. And this is inspired by DC Comics. It's certainly the Joker, but it's also not. And they're not going to have any handcuffs on this whatsoever. It's a...
Well, it brings up, when you said that, it's still the Joker. Yes, it's the Joker. It's not the fake Joker. He doesn't inspire the real Joker. It's not tied into the Batman. It's not tied into what Matt Reeves is doing with the Batman. I've said this before, Rick, and we've talked about it. You can't think of this movie, and Phillips is saying, he said this several times, and it's what Michael's saying here. You can't go in thinking this is a popcorn / franchise starting typical comic book superhero movie. It's not what it is.
Nope.
And I have no issues that Batman's not in it at all. Zero.
No. I don't want him in it.
No, and frankly, it would make no sense for him to be in it. And I know someone there's this on the Facebook discussion group. It was like, well, it's a wasted opportunity not to see this Joker up against.
No, it's not.
Robert Pattinson's Batman. I said,
no, it's not.
I said, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It wouldn't make sense because Robert Pattinson's Batman couldn't exist in this world. This is the world we actually live in.
Yes.
That guy, it was in New York or Gotham, somewhere in the early 1980s.
Yes.
And this is a true story. It's not, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
That's how this is going to feel, and that's what the purpose of this is. So it wouldn't make sense. Batman probably couldn't even exist at all in this universe. And if he did, and if you're one of the people that don't like what Nolan did with Batman in the sense of giving him a short span, because the reality would be he would not even last at half that long in real life. This universe, Batman would last 3 days. So it would be stupid anyway.
Yes.
Just let it go. Let it go.
And yes, you got to stop with that. And one of my responses was this. It's like, well, you must be selling Matt Reeves short here, because do you not think that if he does, let's say Matt Reeves does 3 Batman films, at some point he will probably, Rick, I'm gonna fix this.
There you go. You look better. You're clear again.
So
I text you. I didn't want to interrupt the show, though. That's why I text you. You look good.
Yeah. Lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. Matt Reeves. At some point, if he wants to use the Joker, can he not find an actor of the same caliber as Joaquin Phoenix to play his Joker? And why would he want to use a Joker created by Todd Phillips? This does not jibe with what he's doing in the Batman.
He wouldn't.
Exactly.
And he could have his own Joker.
Yes.
If I have a hard time seeing him do a trilogy without the Joker. Maybe he will. I don't know. It's just seems like that would be hard to do, just by virtue of his popularity, and he's the ultimate villain to Batman. So you would probably have to include him at some point. But you just do your own take, and you make it conducive to that particular universe. It's that simple. Yes. And Bill, we've said this before. These characters are going to coexist with this kind of format, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? In other words, this Joker is going to be there in that world and that story, and then over here you're going to have Matt Reeves, and there's probably going to be a Joker in there, and that's just the way it's going to be. You have to accept that. It's really not that hard to accept. It is what it is, right?
It's not hard to accept.
It's not hard to accept
when it is.
The Superman and Supergirl is not the same Superman that was in B versus S, right? It's the same premise or same concept.
It's just, it is what it is. It's a one-off character study. Could Taxi Driver, that could happen, couldn't it?
Yes.
What happened in that movie? Yes.
This is going to be more like
Afternoon. That could
Dog
happen.
Day Afternoon.
You know?
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yes, absolutely.
So you have these. We're talking character-driven stuff here in those films. That's what this is. That's what this is.
Yes.
That's all it is.
So
get out of your mind that it's DC Comics and the Joker and Batman, even though there's some, obviously Thomas Wayne is in it and probably Bruce Wayne as well. Just let it go. It's not what this is. That's not the end game here. It's not the end game. How you like that?
That's exactly. And I've said it before. I don't know if the material is something that I will like. I don't know. I'm going to judge it for the movie. It's not based on the script or anything like that. I don't know. I'll see the movie, the final product, and then I'll judge it. And that's another thing Michael says, Mr. Uslan says a lot is, wait till you see the final product, whether it's casting, story, whatever, on a film, and then judge the hell out of it. Judge the hell out of it, but don't prejudge it.
Don't prejudge it.
Don't prejudge it.
Don't write the script in your head, and don't go in thinking this is tied to anything other than what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the end.
It is.
I don't want to see any more footage from it, for not just for myself, but I don't want anybody else to. I just let this speak for itself. They'll have stuff for TV that will. I'm sure there'll be some new clips in there, but let's keep it at a bare minimum. It'll be interesting to see what this thing does. And one of the things the references in that LA Times article is that this film is probably going to be judged based more off of the accolades in any awards or what have you versus box office receipts, because it is rated R, and it's not.
It is a
this is
hard R.
Hard rated R.
Yes.
This is not. It's gruesome AF, right?
Yes.
This is not designed to sell toys. It's not designed for merchandise. It is what it is. It's a hard rated R, effed up roller coaster.
It's disturbing AF.
All right.
It's not. You're not going to walk
All right.
out of the theater whistling Dixie and kicking and jumping up and kicking your heels together. Which is That's a good thing, really. I mean, sometimes you want a film to make you sick to your stomach.
I want to walk out of there with that Requiem for a Dream feeling, where it's like, talk about. Yeah. Good God. I want to walk out of the Joker going, I need to go watch.
You got to go take a shower when you get home.
I need to go watch some uplifting film like Chariots of Fire or something. I don't know.
All right.
Something.
Joker. We're fired up. I will say that
it's awesome.
I will not. Neither Rick or I will be doing or having a watch party, but Batman on the Film will be having a watch party that will be up in New York City, Rick. New York City. And that will be hosted by Pete Vera and Eric Holzman. So those should be. I know where they're having it at. It's going to be at the AMC IMAX. I think it's one in Midtown. It's where I saw the Dark Knight premiere and Rises, and I went. Yeah, but I'm gonna have all that on Batman on Film soon, and I believe it's going to be on the 5th on the Saturday.
Yeah, Ryan Haas will be there.
Yeah,
our friend Viola from Fanboy Garage, actually, those guys are dropping in, I know. So that'll be a really cool thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, cool.
Yeah. So
all right, man.
This will be it. We'll once the film comes out, we'll do a vlog and we'll discuss, and then we'll judge it, Rick.
Then we'll judge it.
All right, you got anything to plug?
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, real quick before we do that.
All right.
Just real fast, 2 to 3 minutes chat here. Sony Disney Spider-Man stuff. What's your thoughts?
I'm glad.
I know your thoughts.
You know my thoughts. Look, I have no problem with it. I'm tired of all the MCU stuff that's been infused into these Spider-Man films. It didn't bother me all that much. I like Spider-Man to be Spider-Man. I want him to be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I don't want him in space. I don't need all his shit made by frickin' Stark Industries. I don't need Happy trying to get into Aunt May's pants. And I don't. That's
fine. But here's what I'm going to say to all that, and I'll say this because we've bantered online about it. That stuff is very much a part of this Spider-Man's world,
but you could
right?
still make a movie.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
You can, and they probably will.
Yeah, they will.
And it may be a good movie, but the problem is that we're still not getting the proper story ending for this guy. Because I'm sorry, Nick Fury and Happy, all of that is part of this guy's journey. And dude, he's got Stark's glasses, Edith, and that's part of his journey as well. That's where he was left off. So now that just goes away. And you can say I prefer Spider-Man a certain way, and I, in theory, do as well. I think they should just reboot it and start fresh and have a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man that mourns over Uncle Ben and whatnot and stays in New York, etc. But this guy, this story is good, and these films are working, and I just wish that they could finish it. Just one more movie.
What MCU storyline absolutely needs to be finished with Spider-Man?
Well, first of all, again, the two guys I just mentioned are all part of his journey right now. So suddenly that story picks up. You can have Mysterio, and you can reference that. You can have these characters, but all these other people you're not going to have or reference. All of a sudden, he doesn't have Stark's. I mean, he is the new Iron Man. That's kind of the point of his story.
And that's part of the issue I have with it. But he doesn't.
But that's fine that you have an issue with that. But that's still this Spider-Man.
Let's take that out of the.
That's this Spider-Man story.
Take my personal beliefs of it out. You can still make a third Spider-Man film in that universe with that Spider-Man and all the people around him, without any of the MCU stuff, because the main cliffhanger, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, whatever, you're not going to see it obviously, is him being outed, Peter Parker being outed as Spider-Man by J. Jonah Jameson, who works for the Daily Bugle, who is being going to be played again by who, Rick?
By Commissioner Gordon.
By Commissioner Gordon, yes. J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons is going to play a different version.
Who will not be Commissioner Gordon again, and will be a different. J.K. Simmons is playing the same character in two different universes, but with the same characters. Sound familiar?
Yes, the Daily Bugle is more like a
online,
it's like InfoWars type operation. Anyway, he's been outed. That's the only one. That's the only cliffhanger that matters in terms of Spider-Man. The other characters are part of his story. They're not part of that. Happy's dating his aunt. He's like a mentor to him. He's kind of a fatherly figure now that Stark is gone. He has Stark's glasses. He's supposed to be the new Iron Man. All of a sudden, none of that's needed. All that it is needed for this story. Now you can have it without it. What I'm saying is that it's going to feel incomplete no matter how good it is, because that's just part of his journey. I agree with you. I prefer standalone versus team up films, especially for Batman. But I'm not going to deny something's great just because it's in a different formula than I normally would prefer. I'm taking my preference out. I'm just saying that Spider-Man and his story can continue without the MCU stuff.
Here's what I wish they would have done, and then I really got to go. Okay. I just wish they could have made a deal to make one more film, finish this guy's story, and then Sony has Spider-Man, and then go reboot it. You know what? Have Miles in a live action. Let's not even do another Peter Parker for a while. Do that. Go that route, right? That's what I wish that would happen.
What is his story that needs to be completed MCU wise?
Well,
the last storyline.
He just inherited Tony Stark's weapons and his. I mean, he is the new Iron Man in a sense. So all of a sudden that just goes away. That's weird. That's incomplete. You've got Happy's banging his aunt right now. Like, I'm sorry, that's part of the story. It's part of the story. And good for him, because man, she's good looking.
I don't see how it has to be done. The only cliffhanger I even care about is the J. Jonah Jameson one. That's it. And then what's going to happen with him and MJ? I never call her Mary Jane and the rest of them, So
yeah,
that's that last.
And I said in my Far From Home review that I loved it, but some of the stuff was getting a little old. So I wanted the next film to be the last one of this ilk anyway. So that's what I wanted to begin with, is just finish the story. And and at D23, when Kevin Feige's up there and he's like, yeah, well, we got to finish our story. It's like, dude, come on, man. I know you got to say something for PR purposes, but the movie ended on a cliffhanger. You didn't finish the story. The story is far from finished.
White cliffhanger.
What cliffhanger?
What
You're saying the post-credit scene in Spider-Man Far From Home is not a cliffhanger?
Which one?
All right.
The very last one?
The scene where he was ousted by Mysterio? That scene?
What does that have to do with MCU?
Those characters are in the MCU are part of that story. And suddenly they go away. Happy, Nick Fury. He has Edith. All that stuff is tied into the MCU. It has nothing to
do with him being outed as Spider-Man.
It has to do with his particular story and his journey.
How?
I just told you.
Didn't?
It's part of his story.
How?
Because that's where he came from.
Tony Stark's glasses have anything to do with him being out as Spider-Man and dealing with that?
Bill, my point is that you can still do the thing that he was out as Spider-Man, but suddenly all that stuff goes away and it's in the fabric of that character. You might prefer it not to be that way, and that's fine. But that's how it is. It is that way.
Rick,
it's that way.
You can still.
All right.
Okay.
I gotta go.
Okay.
I really gotta go. Let's plug.
All right, go.
All right. So speaking of D23,
yes.
Episode 150 of the Batman Film Podcast, Bill, I returned to a podcast since you and I haven't done a vlog in forever, and it felt kind of weird, honestly, because I hosted a Batman on Film podcast. I felt like out of my element, man. It was strange. I've done one in forever, but 150, it's really cool because we spend the first half of the show talking about just kind of honoring BOF because it was our 150th show. Ryan Lauer, Ryan Haas, obviously, Pete Vera, and Garrett Grev, and myself. And we talk about BOF. And then the second half of the show, it's cool. It's in two parts. One show, though. One episode. We have Courtney Cheek, who's just a Disney fanatic geek. She's amazing. Brian Chatlin's friend, he set us up. We've talked. She came on. She was at D23 in Anaheim, California, and she had a lot of cool stuff to share, man. So episode 150, we talk Batman, we talk Joker, we talk a lot about stuff that happened at D23, including Marvel, and especially the Star Wars stuff. We really dive deep into that. So that's plug number one. Plug number two, Ryan Haas and I, the next day, and it just came up today, in fact. Today's the 29th. The Fanboy Garage, their new episode, Ryan and I sit down with Chris and Aaron, and we talk about we go a little bit deeper specifically about Star Wars stuff. So 2 podcasts I'm on right now. I'm plugging. Then follow me on Twitter at Shewrick, SHEWRICK. And Disney, make a deal with Sony. Finish Tom Holland's story. Thank you very much.
I'm looking at that camera that follows me around through life.
And release the Snyder Cut.
Oh God. The camera that films my life. That when my wife says something to me and I'll just kind of go look at my camera, and that really gets her upset. I'm looking at the camera after that because no, and now you're gonna bring up now you got me. You're trying to get me going now that we're ending. I'm gonna.
I know, and I've got
this shit all freaking day long. All right, follow me at Batman on Film on Twitter. I am Bill Jett Ramey. He is Rick Shew. Batman on Film, authoritative, definitive.
The dadgum original.
I changed that, Rick. It's actually Batman on Film, authoritative, definitive. It all must connect. All right, we'll see you next time.